Heard a lot about Josh Rivas and Noah Johnson this summer. Who were some of the other guys in your offensive line that you're really looking forward to step up at a time when so many are inexperienced?
Well, one guy that I've really been impressed with, and just such a small evaluation period, is Christian Duffy, and he's a guy who is continuing to gain more and more confidence, and with that confidence, he's continuing to play faster, and been very pleased with him up to this point. Ben Adler is a guy, it's his opportunity right now, and he's both playing the right guard and center position, so we're putting more on his plate, and he's done well so far. And another guy who really has to step up because of the amount of ability that he truly has is Katori. So I've seen flashes of it. We need more consistency. And you guys know me, consistency is going to be such a huge factor within that offensive line. So, with those guys, and then, Cooper Beebe competing for a starting job this year, Dawson Delforge, one of the young men that we brought in this past fall. I've been very pleased with how quickly he's picked things up. He's a guy who needs to step up. And the transition of Logan Long, we're going through some bumps in the road, but for the most part, I've been pleased with his trajectory. So it's one of the things that you mentioned, more than five. We're going to need more than five to play this year, even with a shortened season, with the inexperience that we have. And, even looking at some of the conditioning that we lost over the course of the last 6 months, is we're going to have the ability to play multiple guys.
Thank you.
Derek Young.
Hey, Coach, with the off season the way it was, and really not getting to work with your group probably on the field as much as you'd like, how comfortable are you with breaking in an entirely new offensive line, essentially?
Well, it is a challenge, and it's the thing that we continually talk about. Is the biggest thing that we lack is experience, and there's not anything that we can do or that we can have control over right now that would gain that experience, whether it's, and I'm primarily talking about game experience. So, we have to have that much more urgency in our preparation, in what coach would call the unrequired, of taking it upon ourselves to continue to work ourselves into game shape, but then also understanding that we need to go a little bit of the extra mile to watch extra film, to see the intricacies of where we are offensively. So those are things, unfortunately, we can't control. No one can control, but we got to make it up with our preparation and then ultimately our finish. And, the thing that I'm really excited about with this group is our ability to be physical. Now, again, I go back to the consistency factor. We need to be much more consistent in that manner.
Adam Meyer.
On Noah Johnson, a very hard worker, a walk-on from Butler Community College. He learned from Adam Holtarf last year. Just what do you have to say on Noah, and how much of an effect do you think he has on the rest of the offensive line?
He has a huge impact on the other offensive linemen. Noah does a phenomenal job studying the game. He plays the game the right way, and he's a great leader for our group. And when we feel a little flat, when that confidence is being dented, he's the guy who is rallying that group. And the thing you guys understand with our offense is our communication really begins and kind of ends with that center. So his ability to communicate, get guys going in the right direction has been phenomenal. So a walk-on, a transition guy, never played center before. I couldn't be more pleased with where Noah's at.
Arnie. You're muted, Arnie.
I'm sorry, you might be muted.
There we go. Sorry. You talked about consistency and game experience, and also, I presume, chemistry with the offensive line is key. Is there anything you could do during the off season with your meetings or anything to try to enhance that when you didn't have him on the field?
Well, there's really no way to kind of make up for lack of experience when you don't have the ability to get guys in competitive situations. So we took advantage of every chance we could to, within NCAA rules, to meet via Zoom, to have quizzes. We try to get that mental aspect really honed in, allowing them to focus in on kind of what you talk about, the being cohesive. So those are the things that we've got to really work on now. However, what we really tried to be very measured in our planning was, let's take that mental aspect out of it as much as possible. So we're not thinking at the line of scrimmage. So we know where we are going on each and every play with each and every concept. And now we can focus on building that cohesiveness, focusing on our technique, and focusing on our finish.
Also wanted to just ask you a little bit about Josh Rivas. What have you seen from him so far? And obviously he's your most experienced guy. What do you need from him?
Well, I need him to be not just a good player. We need him to be a great player. We need him to have the ability to be one of the better offensive linemen in this league. And quite honestly, I believe he does have that ability. He brings a ton of physicality to the game. I think he's athletic, and I think he's smart. And just getting him to take that next step to be what I would consider a dominant offensive lineman within the Big 12.
All right, let's get these last two in real quick. Go ahead, Kellis.
Coach, you mentioned a lot of names here, but have you seen one guy emerge as a leader on that line yet?
Yeah, I would say Noah Johnson's really emerged as a leader. And I like how Ben Adler is continuing to develop and holding guys accountable within that group. And that's one of the things, and you've heard Coach talk about it, is that accountability within our team, not guys just taking care of their business, but getting out of their lane, having the ability to hold their teammates accountable to what the expectation is, what the standard is that we have within our football program.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, hey, Conor, wanted to ask about some of the freshmen that you have in the program. What potential do you see in Whit Mitchum, Carver Willis, and Taylor Warner on the offensive line?
Well, the athleticism of Carver Willis really stands out. He's got length and he's got athleticism, something that we really need on our offensive line. You look at Whit, and I've just been so impressed at how quickly he has picked things up. Here's a guy who's basically has played 1 year of offensive line up until his senior year in high school. He was a guy who played primarily tight end and defensive end. So just how much he improves on a day-to-day basis, whether it's saying, hey, you got to get your hands inside on pass pro, and the next day, that is his main focus. So his desire to continue to learn, he's continuing to grow into his body. I think he's on a great trajectory, size and strength-wise. He's in that 265 to 270 mark right now. And that's where we want him to be. The freshman, I guess I'm probably most impressed with would be Taylor Warner. How explosive he is, his ability to use his hips, he gets movement in there. And I'm excited about all three of those guys, along with Sam Shields. And Sam is a guy I've been asking to do double duty well, playing a little bit of guard and a little bit of center. So I'm sure he's swimming, but I'm excited very much about where we're at with that freshman class.